Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back. It is episode 60 of Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in as always. And as we have been doing on the most recent episodes, every week we feature an athlete whose number coincides with the episode of the week, which this week is 60. And the number 60 would be OTTO Graham.
One of the greats, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Hall of Fame quarterback OTTO Graham was drafted number 4 overall by the Cleveland Browns in the 1944 NFL draft. Played his entire 10-year career there.
Yep.
He was a 5-time Pro Bowler and led the Browns to 3 NFL championships and 4 AAFC championships.
Do you want to mention how many championship appearances he made?
Yeah, go for it.
All 10 years he was in the league.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. I mean,
yeah, that's one
it's a
hell of a
different league
stat
back
right
then.
there. Yeah,
Way
definitely
different.
different. Yeah, different time. He was named to the NFL's 75th anniversary all-time team, and the Browns have retired his number 14, one of the 2 numbers he wore with the franchise. The other, obviously, being number 60.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of a quarterback being number 60. I wouldn't even know how.
Well, they didn't really care about that stuff.
No, there wasn't. That's just before they had kind of different numbers for all the positions. But yeah, you go through his numbers, and guys like George Steinbrenner, who was his good friend growing up, said that he is one of the greats, the best to ever do it.
The best.
Yep. And one cool fact about him, too, is actually in high school, he was All-American in basketball, too. So
You got to love the multi-sport athletes.
multi-talented. That's impressive there.
Chad, how was your week, man? Your weekend, because you had a little bit of a fun one, right?
Yeah.
Still recovering.
We did some things. We got out of the house, man. We went to Mexico. Yeah, we went there for Samir's wedding, which, man, I will say, just on air, congrats to Samir and Erica. Probably one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever been a part of. And I will just say this.
Can I ask you this much? How many weddings have you been a part of?
Well, I mean, I wasn't part of it, but I mean, saying like...
How many weddings have you been to?
At.
Okay.
Been at. I mean, 20-something, maybe. That's a rough guess, but
that's fair. Yeah.
But
you do have a little bit of the Mexicano influence in your blood.
Yeah, that's just it. The big Mexican family I've been to quite a bit, but
that's right. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to some really nice weddings, but that was insane, man. The wedding ceremony was on top of the roof. The reception, it was just insane. It was a cool ass fucking wedding, and they are great people. Really happy for them, so just want to give them a shout out. And shout out to the father of the bride. I want to say this to you because you'll enjoy this.
Yeah.
He's also a big Chiefs fan, so he's up there giving his speech at the reception, and he says this, and I apologize to him because I'm going to butcher this, but he says it in this roundabout way where he gives a metaphor for their relationship and says, may your relationship and marriage be as in sync and in tune as Mahomes and Kelsey. May it be, may the bond...
Because that's all they've got right now, right?
Yeah. May your bond be as strong as Mahomes' arm. And everybody was just loving that shit, man. We were just, I mean, there's so many Chiefs fans in the house. It was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize, honestly, until, this weekend when I was like, oh shit, it's the Chiefs bye week. I get why Samir planned this the way he did.
No, actually, the football gods blessed us. The wedding was planned out 2 years ago.
Really?
So, yeah.
I was going to say, like, that's some incredible finagling.
Man. Me and Alex Beal and Samir were texting immediately once the schedule came out because we didn't want to have to watch the Chiefs game while we were down there. I mean, some people were kind of like feeling that shit, but hell no, man, I want to enjoy Mexico. The resort is fucking sweet, dude. Like,
yeah.
Infinity pools, like, we had a blast. That's a given. I'm really blessed with this awesome girlfriend because, damn, dude, it was a great fucking time. And just tough to come back to work, man. And yeah, so
we missed you.
Yeah, I heard deliveries took a hit, I guess.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but I did notice that we were a little bit behind. But yeah, you were obviously clearly needed.
It's all good, man. I'm here today.
You're here today, gone tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it was a good time, and dude, it could not have gone any. Yeah, that's what I was on. Lost my train of thought. It was the Chiefs bye week, so it was just great because, yeah, when the schedule came out, we were like, holy shit, we don't have to worry about that while we're down there. And they did have a sports bar where a couple of the guys went down, and I watched like a quarter of maybe just like 20 minutes of the Niners game. But just got to say, that bye week for the Chiefs, and thanks to your Broncos and their huge win last night.
Woo! That's why I'm all Broncoed
Figured
out
so.
right now,
That's
dude.
probably
Donkeys all the way, dude.
That's got to be your biggest win in 3 years, maybe, right?
The Chiefs was.
The Chiefs was, yes, yeah, definitely.
It's so second, second.
But
we had to get over that hump.
I mean, this, you beat the Chiefs in Denver, but that was in Orchard Park. But I mean, you guys helped us out. The bye week could not have gone any better. The Bills lost, Bengals lost, Ravens lost, Jaguars
Bills
lost.
might be out of the playoffs.
Dude, I think it's very
Jaguars are out of the playoffs. They're what, 3-7
dude,
now?
The Colts are going to win that division. I think.
Yeah,
Texans,
which is insane.
The Texans.
No, well, the Texans.
Meant the
yeah.
Texans. Yeah. Fucking CJ Stroud,
which
man.
we'll get into later.
Yeah, damn right we will,
Yeah,
man.
we will.
It's a good week of football. I mean, we'll get into it with all the winning field goals. It was crazy. But before we get into all that, how was your weekend, my good sir? You went to a concert.
I did. So Friday night, we basically kind of celebrated Meryl's birthday a little bit late because it was the 8th, which I believe was Wednesday of last week, I think. I don't know. I can't keep up with days, man.
Yeah.
So it fell in the middle of the week, so we decided to go out on Friday. We ended up going to 2 bars. Well, they're in the same building, but It was 2 bars downtown. The first one was called Honor Farm, and I guess the building that it's in is like the one of Denver's like haunted bars, or maybe the only haunted bar in Denver. I don't really know. But they had a lot of crazy drinks. They were very expensive compared to the drinks I
Were
normally
they like
drink.
horror themed drinks?
Kind of. The first bar, the Honor Farm one, was more like horror themed, but then the bar upstairs was called Hell or High Water, and it was more of like a tiki bar. And in at that one, I can't remember the drink I had the first one. It was I don't even remember. That's how my life goes. I forget most of it.
Well, you went to go see Faya, which is has been a musical guest.
Yeah,
on the pod.
they've been a musical guest. So after we went to Hell or High Water, Meryl had a drink that they lit on fire as well as part of the bar.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like the bar was on fire, and then
like
the whole drink, it was a fire hazard. My drink, it was like some sort of like whiskey drink, but it had. Have you ever had a drink with egg whites in it?
No, I've heard of them, and I never want to try them.
It's good.
Ugh, I don't know.
It sounds weird, dude, but the
Yeah.
2 drinks that I've had with egg whites in them are very good.
I'll give it a shot maybe someday.
But this one, they drew like a penis in the foam. The red stuff.
Nice.
I don't know what the red stuff was. But
Blood.
they were very fancy drinks. We had those. And then, we went to Bar 404 and saw Faya, who was one of our first musical
Yeah, I wanna
guests.
say,
I believe
I mean, it was
the first
few months, maybe?
Definitely within the first 5 months of the show. But they were one of the first musical guests that we had. It was definitely a good show. Saw a band that we played a few shows with a buddy of ours who ended up quitting that band, doing his own thing, and then going to Wyoming. But that band has a new singer.
Cool.
And Meryl was very stoked on all of the bands because the new singer of that band is a trans woman, and then Faya obviously is very,
feminist punk rock.
So like, dude, it was right up Meryl's alley. And the whole night afterwards, I was giving her so much shit, being like, I was like, at one point you told me like, oh my god, this was the best night of my life. Wow. That didn't really happen, but I just was making it up. Like every time I talked about it, I like ramped it up of like being like the best thing that's ever happened to her, like, just
that's
being a dick, but she had a really good time. So it was cool, obviously, seeing Faya. Your dad was very stoked, as well as your mom, when they saw them out in Parsons.
Yeah.
Or was it in Parsons, or was
no,
it
it was
Lawrence?
at Joplin.
Oh, Joplin.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's how we found out about them. So it was like a full circle event to go and see them live.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then Saturday night, we had the benefit show at the Crypt for Fast Eddie, who just released their new single, Spirit Commander. Go check it out. So yeah, they couldn't play because their drummer just found out he had cancer like a month ago, and he's supposed to already be on chemo, but they pushed it back, and then he ends up being on chemo like right before the week of the show. So it just turned into a benefit. Another band jumped on to open the show, and it was a good time. People came out. We had a great time. And then cool. I got home late that night as well. So
that sounds like a busy weekend.
It was. Yeah. I was hoping to get the fucking Buick done, but the Buick is just the bane of my existence right now. Next weekend it will be done.
Well, it's supposed to be warm, so you're set.
Yeah, if I already almost got the turbo and everything out, I've got 2 bolts to take out. It's out.
Nice.
And then it's just putting it back in.
Fucking A, man.
So
sweet.
Just a little bit to go there. Other than that, we missed you at work.
Yeah. Missed you guys.
Yeah. How dare you ever leave?
Yeah, I know.
Don't roll your eyes, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. That's all I could think of when I was in Mexico.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, Smalley.
Like, how are they doing down there?
You were.
Yeah.
You knew. You just knew it was going to be bad when you got back.
I knew it. Yeah, it's all good. But dude, it was so fucking sweet. We were swimming in infinity pool on the roof, dude. I did not want to go back.
That's baller, dude.
It was fucking cool, man. It was. Yeah. We're going to have to go.
Yeah.
All 4 of us someday.
Maybe one day.
Yep. Just lay out, get all burnt.
You know what it's time for.
Let's hit it, man. Let's give these people some sports ball news.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right. Sorry, I fucking forgot. I turned the sound off on all the cut screens for the headline stuff. So you didn't hear what I said, but that is the headline noise, and it is time for headlines. And as always, we are going to start it off with the NFL. Let's go with the original.
Nice. I've heard this one in a minute.
Offense. He was giving them the business.
Yes, indeed. And we are going to give you the business of football. Do you want to start with injuries, or do you want to go on the news first?
Yeah, let's do the news first. Switch it up.
Let's do the news first. So, Rodgers, Mr. A-Rod.
Miracle Man.
The Miracle Man. Yeah, the Dolphins
Wolverine.
fornicating, the sound vibrations of dolphins fornicating have reattached his Achilles tendon, and he's saying he's going to be back in the middle of December.
Told an NBC reporter that, so it is official. He's saying it's going to happen, but what's the point if you're not going to make the playoffs?
If you have one of the worst offensive teams so far. I thought the Broncos were bad last year, but Nathaniel Hackett's showing us that this year he may be trying to be worse than last year.
And last I heard, he's going to get the play calling duties ripped from him.
Oh, is that like a real thing now?
No, I thought I saw something about that.
It wouldn't surprise me because it's been real bad.
Maybe saw it mentioned in the press.
I don't know why they don't go to the former Broncos quarterback Trevor Siemian and just.
I don't know why they're sticking with Zach Wilson. I mean, he's trying, but that offensive line isn't really blocking for him. But he makes a lot of stupid mistakes holding onto the ball as well. But let me ask you, do you know how many drives it's been since they've scored a touchdown?
Oh, man, I don't off the top of my head. I'm going to go 18.
Double it. 35. 35.
Holy shit, dude. I thought the Broncos were bad last year, but look at them go.
I think it's like 3.5 games, basically.
That's wild.
That's so bad, dude. They just kick field goals, man. That's all they need is their kicker. He's their MVP. But
Isn't it Greg the Leg?
Yeah. Still Zerline.
Good old Greg the Leg, yeah. If you are looking for a kicker in fantasy and he's for some reason still floating around, go pick up Greg the Leg.
It still wouldn't do much good because most times it's only like 3 field goals. It ain't
That's
like
true. They don't really.
Yeah, they don't move the ball very often.
I screwed myself this week picking up McManus thinking like, oh yeah, dude, he's been averaging like 15, 16 points. Yep. 3.
Yeah. I couldn't believe the way the Jaguars fell in their face, man. I just thought surely they would. I mean, they were at home. But I think the big kicker of that team, once you get Debo and Trent Williams back, they look like a completely different team.
Yeah, they definitely shut them down. But the big news of this week, though, is the fact that 6 games ended by game-winning field goals, which is the first time in NFL history that has happened. It was the first time Sunday at 5.
Yeah.
But the Broncos had to take 2 chances to get the 6th one.
Thanks to the Bills fucking up.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, man.
the
Lots of
Broncos
barn
won.
burners, lots of hootenannies, hoedowns, whatever you want to call them.
Haberdashery, shenanigans.
Couldn't believe it, dude. It was crazy because obviously I'm down in Mexico and I couldn't really like tune into a lot, but I get updates on my phone and everything. And we were about to go out to dinner when the Chargers and Lions game was going on, and I purposely tried to turn my phone on airplane mode so it wasn't going off because we were walking into the restaurant with and going into the end of the game almost, and it was just like every 2 seconds. Herbert's in the red zone. Goff's in the red zone. Just back and forth.
Yeah, that game was back and forth all day
the way.
long.
Barn burner, man. It was nuts. But, just can't believe how many games are close this weekend. It's good football.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, in the game last night, we also had DeMar Hamlin getting his first snaps of the season, which, as we talked about today at work, probably solidifies him as winning, the comeback player of the year.
It should.
We said as soon as you step back on the field.
Yeah.
When you die on the field, if you step back on it, you win.
During a play, like a real play, not preseason or anything like that, you get comeback player of the year.
Definitely.
Yep.
We got a few things to talk about, and we got to play one of my favorite things, which would be this one.
People getting in trouble.
Yeah, people be getting in trouble, and the most recent of which is Zay Jones arrested on a domestic battery charge that caused bodily harm. No details were released as of last night, but after dealing with knee injuries this year, he only has 55 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 3 games that he has played in, so he has not been on the field much this year.
Yeah, he made a big impact there in the very beginning, but
he didn't have a bad game this week either.
Yeah. He had some injury issues and stuff like that, but I wonder if that's kind of what led to his anger problems or something. His performance has gone down quite a bit on the field.
Yeah, and then the other one is Michael Thomas also.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of simple battery happening.
Chris Olave just got in trouble recently too, wasn't it?
Was he speeding?
Yeah, I think it was speeding.
Yeah,
maybe, or something.
he was doing 100 and a 30 or something like that.
But wasn't it construction workers that?
Yeah. He got mad at him parking in front of his house. Ended up, I guess, I don't know if he attacked the guy or what, but he definitely threw a brick at the dude's windshield.
Yeah,
so
can't do that.
He also got criminal mischief, which I know something about. I've been charged with that in my lifetime.
You are
I'm a mischievous little son of a gun. I am.
Yes. Loki over here.
The only other news we have, at least that I have written down, would be Ken Dorsey being relieved of his duties after last night's debacle.
Well, before we get to
Bills.
that, let's get into just the coincidence of how many wide receivers end up in jail.
I forgot that's what we were going to go into.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
After they played with Derek Carr. So just off the top of my head, Henry Ruggs killed somebody. Unfortunately. Awful. He's in prison now. And then you got Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and then the worst one of all, Antonio Brown. No, Henry Ruggs was the worst. But Antonio Brown, basket case. He was a crazy person already, but then went to Derek Carr, and then it just kind of went sideways. So I don't know what he's doing to these wide receivers, but it needs to be looked into.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier. I think he may or may not be setting these guys up. Yeah. I don't know. He's
an undercover cop.
Yeah, it's tough to say. So,
Ken Dorsey, after last night's game, he is the one to fall on the sword forcibly, actually. You think it would be the special teams coordinator because they probably would have won that game if it wasn't for somebody sending out an extra player.
Well, I heard something today which I thought was strange. Well, not necessarily strange, but I guess it kind of makes sense. A lot of times in those situations, since it is a routine field goal, they won't send out the actual field goal unit. Sometimes they'll just leave the defense in. But still, that either means that the play before they had 12 players or they subbed somebody in and therefore, brought in the 12th player.
Either way, they fucked up, and that cost them the game pretty much. And so, but the offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, takes the fall. And, I mean, yeah, their play calling has been great, and it's just nuts because when they were moving the ball in that game, it's because when they were running with James Cook, and he was holding onto the ball. But that's when the offense had rhythm. But if they ran the ball and only got 1 yard on first down, then it's 2nd and 9, and instead of trying to run it again, then they pass, and then maybe it's incomplete. Now they're in a 3rd and 9, and when now you're in a 3rd down, well, maybe it's another incomplete pass off the field instead of just sticking to the run.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, and after the whole 75-yard drive where they ran the ball the entire time, to go away from the run is just so stupid. Like, just keep doing it.
It's
do what the Broncos are doing to you.
I mean, Latavius Murray was running on you guys.
Former Bronco.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's the thing. And then James Cook, like, I mean, the first play by McMillian, Jaquan McMillian, where he ripped the ball out of James Cook's hands. And then James Cook again fumbles the ball in the 3rd quarter.
Yep.
And somehow, miraculously, it bounces right back up into his arms.
It always blows me away when that happens. I'm like, this is an oblong, egg-shaped ball. How does that happen?
Yeah. It's insane.
Makes no sense.
So, yeah, I mean, we can go on and on about that game. I'm not going to make us go through it. I don't want to do a whole, buzzer beater on it. But,
yeah. The last little bit of news I had is the new betting platform has launched today, ESPN Bet, which obviously is ESPN's betting platform.
yeah, I mean, Barstool had one for a bit.
Yep.
A lot of the sports companies that get big enough end up having one, but it does, make you wonder, is there a little bit of collusion?
Is there a little bit of conflict of interest when Monday Night Football, which is aired on ESPN, and maybe the under isn't, going to work out or something like that? Someone can influence a ref. Like, it just seems a little too shiesty to me,
Yeah, and then we did have something come out, I think it was maybe either today or yesterday, where ESPN has now basically barred all of their analysts and anybody who reports on sports from betting on sports.
No shit. I did not know that. That is
because
really
people like
fascinating.
Adam Schefter, who know when things happen before anybody else more often than not, it's could possibly allow him to influence,
Whoa.
things in the betting world. So
I think that's
definitely
right,
an interesting thing. So I don't know.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, you got anything else for football?
Well, I mean, we have injuries,
Yeah.
but
Let's
that's
get into
it
that.
for the
news.
news. So start us off in the injury chat.
All right. The Falcons, Taylor Heineke hurt his hamstring, got ruled out in that game. Desmond Ridder came in, so it looks like Ritter's probably going to start next game from what I hear.
It does kind of seem that way. It was big news, but I think he's going to be fine, is Deshaun Watson was in a walking boot after the win over the Ravens, but he said he will be fine for the next game. Other and notable injuries in that game, Denzel Ward was ruled out with a neck injury. I haven't heard any updates on that. Have you?
No, not
Okay.
a good sign if it's a neck, though.
No, definitely not. Also, safety Juan Thornhill did not return with a calf. So those are big losses for the Cleveland defense, who has been one of the more dominant defenses in the league this year.
Yeah, top 3. Yep.
Take us to the next one.
Let's go to the Ravens. It's kind of a weird one where there's really no updates on these guys, but they did have to leave the game the other day. We never really quite got a reason for it, but Ronnie Stanley and Marlon Humphrey, 2 real key pieces for the Ravens. Have to pay attention to that one.
Yeah, we definitely will keep an eye on that one. A couple injuries in the New Orleans game. Michael Thomas knee, injured in that one, did not return, and cornerback Marshawn Lattimore ankle. Both may end up missing a little bit of time, but they also are on a bye week this next week, so it's a good time for them to get an injury if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I've heard Carr will probably be back. I think it's a tough son of a bitch. He's been hurt a bunch of times, getting all kinds of banked up this year. But Marshall Lattimore did have to have an MRI today. It is an ankle sprain, so I would imagine he's probably going to at least miss this next game.
Did they say if it was high or low, Chad?
I haven't heard. High, low.
You never know. Is it high or is it low?
If it's low, it's no big deal. If it's high, it
could be a little while.
Yep.
That doesn't really rhyme, but it almost makes you feel
Sounds
like
it's
a
jingle.
Yeah. Give us another one.
Steelers, Quan Alexander, big linebacker for them. That's a key piece for them. Suffered a torn Achilles, obviously out for the year. Hit up Rodgers. Get the miracle drug.
Yep. Find out what he used because it's working, obviously. Alexander, what do you got?
No, I just said we'll see.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's going on the TV. Alexander Madison did leave the game against the Saints with a concussion.
Yep.
We'll see if he'll be ready to go against the Broncos on Sunday night. He does get a little bit of an extra time, if you will. He gets like an extra half a day
it's
almost.
It's going to be a tough game for you guys.
Yeah, we'll see now that they've got the Pastronaut. They're looking better than they were with fucking.
They're taking the NFL by storm, man.
They really are.
Yeah.
So give us what's the next one? What do you want to go to?
This is the last one that I know of. Chargers, Gerald Everett back did not return.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I do have two more.
Hit it.
Kayvon Thibodeau left the game against the Cowboys with a concussion. On also another Vikings loss on the defense side of things. Linebacker Jordan Hicks did leave the game in the second quarter after collision with a teammate. Played another 23 defensive and special team snaps before leaving the game for good in the third. Developed compartment syndrome in his leg, which these are things that can happen when you suffer traumatic blunt impact or something like that, where it causes a bunch of pressure to build up inside of your muscles, and it can lead to like amputation if you're not careful. So I think it also happened to Alex Smith when he broke his leg. I think he developed compartment syndrome as well. And he also developed a gnarly infection, which almost killed him.
I thought it was just the infection. I didn't know
I think he had the compartment syndrome too. So
that's fucking awful.
Yeah, definitely not a good thing.
You don't want to have a peg leg.
No, and it sounds like he may be done for the year. So that is going to do it for the NFL. It is time for the NBA.
You ever see that movie Six Man? It's Marlon Wayans.
Yeah.
Dude, that was
what about Juwanna Man?
Yeah, I never watched that movie actually. It was.
I don't think we can. I don't know if we can do anything from that one. We might get canceled.
Dude, Six Man was an underrated movie though. It was fucking sad too.
Yeah, it was.
It was a good movie.
So big news, Chad, and it falls under the umbrella of our Nuggets.
Malone got the extension. Got paid, dude. One of the highest paid coaches now.
He is. We didn't hear the details yet, but Michael Malone now is one of the highest paid coaches in the NBA. After signing his contract extension, he is the league's fourth longest tenured coach. He holds a record of 375 to 272 total. That is a .580 win percentage. He has his regular season record, is 375 to 272. He's 37-31 in the playoffs, and he stands behind only Doug Moe and George Karl in terms of best coaches of the Nuggets of their whole existence.
He's going to go down as one of the greats.
Yep, 647 games coached and 372 total wins, and there's going to be more to go now.
What is that, like 60% maybe?
Yeah, well, basically, 0.58. So yeah,
cool
right there. So yeah, Malone is going to be here for at least through the 2027 season, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got him for a few more years, which is good.
I think he's going to be here for a while. All right. Well, let's get into some big stories, which is the T-Wolves having one of the best defenses. No, excuse me, the best defense in the NBA. It's crazy. I mean, dude, it seems like they, more than any other team that got knocked out of the playoffs last year, have a chip on their fucking shoulder, and they're coming.
Yeah, I mean, we got to think about the injuries they had and the things they were dealing with when they were playing the Nuggets last year and got knocked out.
Yep. They got the Twin Towers there.
Yeah, with Rudy Gobert now, which is also, I think he was, 2 or 3 time
Defensive
player of the year. So it's only a matter of time until they figured out how to put this all together.
Mm-hmm.
And with
Anthony Edwards, man, that guy can ball. So just run through the categories for defense. The T-Wolves are first in opponents' points per game, first in opponents' field goal percentage, first in opponents' 3-point percentage, and first in defensive rating.
Yeah.
Damn.
They're first in a lot of things involving defense, are they not?
Pretty much. They run the board.
Yeah. That's one of the surprising things. And they're still sitting third in the Western Conference, which is wild.
Yeah.
Because you've got the Dallas Mavericks at 8-2 and the Nuggets at 8-2, who play tonight against the Los Angeles Clippers, who since trading for Mr. James Harden, Mr. I am the system, have lost 4 straight.
4 straight,
Yeah.
I love the meme
It's
where
weird.
it's a picture of Terrence Mann when James Harden walked in the locker room, and it's like a meme that says Terrence Mann knew this downfall was going to happen as soon as Harden walked in.
It's like, I hate his beard so much.
And he just has a look on his face. It's like, I ain't impressed with this motherfucker.
Yeah. What's this guy done?
Yeah.
Not a lot. Since
crumble in the playoffs.
Houston, yeah. And that's the thing tonight. The in-season tournament continues.
Yes, very true.
And the Nuggets are playing the Clippers. We'll see. I don't like this game though. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier. The fact that they are an 0-4 team right now since the Harden trade.
Yeah.
The odds are stacked against you that it's gonna come eventually.
Yeah, as long as the rest of the bench, the odds just for a team to lose 5 straight. And for them to go up against the Nuggets, the odds kind of are definitely in the Nuggets' favor. I think they're favored by...
Ooh, I don't know what I didn't check.
Oh, it doesn't show right here. But no, they... let's see. 4.5 points is the money line. But, yeah, it's just, they don't really have a big. Since they had to trade for Harden, they traded away some key pieces. And they've got Russell Westbrook as a point guard, so I think Jokic is going to dominate in the paint as he normally does. But if the rest of everybody else can step up, I think they can definitely take this game. So we'll see.
That's what we're hoping for, because God forbid they lose in the in-season tournament, which
that would be sad.
That would be terrible.
Yep.
I mean, detrimental to your entire season.
But hopefully they get some more free throws tonight.
In November. Yeah.
Because they are dead last in free throw attempts. And not only are they dead last, but they're at such a low point where it's the lowest a team's average in its first 10 games in 3 years. With, I think it's 17.3 attempts per game, while other teams like the Lakers and shit are getting almost over 25.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the Lakers who may or may not have just sent videos to the league in regards to LeBron James?
It was definitely
the
the
fact
Lakers.
He's not getting foul calls.
Yeah, and what's weird is they also are at the top for free throw attempts. They've shot over 500 something this year.
Yeah.
And they're saying they're not getting enough. So leave it to the whiny, crying LA Lakers.
Mr. LeBron James.
Mr. Flop King. Just a couple other things for the NBA, though, dude. The other one that's on a hot starter is the Pacers, man. Tyrese Halliburton, Bruce Brown over there, averaging a league best 126 points per game, and then sitting at 6-4. It's not like they're dominant, but they are kind of a dark horse. They are playing the Sixers tonight, and they are currently up 72-63.
Oh, that is a bummer, because the Sixers, after getting rid of Harden, have been on a little bit of, oh my God, my phone's making noise. Have been on a little bit of what seems like a freedom of not having to deal with the Beard himself, because they've been doing pretty well. They had won 8 straight going into tonight.
Yep.
And Tyrese Maxey goes off, I believe it was Sunday
night.
Or was it Sunday?
Sunday
Oh,
night,
shit. Yeah, you're right.
50 points, man.
50 points in their 8th straight win. And he dedicated the performance to Kelly Oubre, who was hit by a car Saturday night.
Ouch.
And suffered a broken rib, which You gotta watch out for them cars, dude. They'll jump right out and get you.
Look both ways. We get taught in kindergarten, man. Yeah,
Something tells me libations were involved.
I would imagine so. You just walk out in traffic on the Vegas Strip or something. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But in that win, Embiid did have 37, so it really seems like, and they've got Nick Nurse too. Now, why do
Nick
that's
Nurse.
Dude? It's like the Giannis
It's
thing.
Giannis,
I
yeah.
always say
And,
Nurse.
roughing the passenger.
Yeah, these fucking words.
Which is my favorite.
Why do I say Nurse? Yeah, Nick Nurse. He's a damn good coach. Won with the Raptors, and I think he's basically just been like, all right, we got rid of Harden. Let's unleash Maxey.
Yeah. Another thing I do want to mention, Ime Udoka and what he's done with the Houston Rockets, who have beat the Nuggets 2 times this year already.
Yeah.
And they look like they might be like an early dark horse kind of sneak into the playoffs type team.
They really are, and they got Fred VanVleet from the Raptors.
Yeah.
And they also beat I think they beat the Warriors earlier this year, but I know they beat the Lakers by a lot.
Yeah.
Like 30 points or
So
something the other
definite
day.
turnaround for them. Watch out for them. Maybe put some money on them to make it into the playoffs, because I think they will this year, especially with the play-in tournament. So we'll see what goes on there. Let's go into the F1 right now.
Sweet.
I think we've been on that kick recently, and we'll continue it.
All right. Dude, the amount of F1 jerseys I saw down in Mexico was insane.
Oh, they love it. Well, you got Checo there.
Yeah, so we
Sergio Perez.
We love the sound. I mean, yeah, and they got the Mexico City Grand Prix and everything, but like when we got to the airport, we walked to our gate and they have a simulator, an F1 simulator.
What?
Yeah, which is pretty cool, but the problem is they didn't have it on fucking mute. So for the hour and a half that we were waiting for our flight, that's all we hear. And we're just like, oh my God, I'm over it. I'm just over it. It was nuts. But
Well,
yeah, they were selling merch at that little booth too. And stuff.
Nice,
Like,
yeah. I
pretty
mean,
cool.
that only happened, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
so,
recently.
we don't have much to touch on, but we just want to mention the Las Vegas Grand Prix is this Saturday.
Yeah.
At 11 p.m. They are racing around the Strip. It should be quite the spectacle to watch on TV. So if you are up late, by all means, tune in to ESPN and catch it. I think the next day they are having like reruns on one of the ESPN channels. There's like 2 of them. So
They have
if you miss it-
transformed that city, man. It looks cool.
Yeah, they usually do. I mean, you got to do a lot to turn a city into a racetrack.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot that goes into that. A lot of construction.
definitely. Let's get into college football. And Chad, I got to pee.
All right.
So you take us into it.
All right, well, what we're going to do this week is just kind of cover college sports in general. We're just kind of blanket this, basically. But college football last week, we had...
Your name is Needle Dick. I knew that this was a good idea.
Damn right it was a good idea. But things are getting heated in the college football realm, where it won't be much longer before we have a college football playoff set. And the big story right now is Jim Harbaugh, who right now is suspended from being on the sideline for Michigan games. Last I heard, they're going to file appeal so that he could be on the sidelines for the Ohio State game and I think another one. But yeah, this is a team that is caught up in a lot of turmoil. We'll see where it goes, but as far as I know, this is probably the least we'll see of it. Just the Michigan and Ohio State game for the Big Ten Championship is what's going to come down to then, deciding Michigan's final state and all this. But over the weekend, CU lost to Arizona. They put up a good fight against a good Arizona team. Ohio State did whoop up on Michigan State, 38-3. And then Georgia, damn, they finally got a huge win. Beat number 9 Ole Miss, who was a good team, 52-17.
Sorry, I just got back. I did want to mention, I heard you talking about Michigan.
Yeah, I was just talking about the Jim Harbaugh thing.
Yeah, I did want to play this real quick. It's only 40 seconds, but...
More congratulations first on the win. To say that this has been a crazy 24 hours for your guys, to win on the road in this environment when there were doubts. Jerome, what does it mean to you?
It's the interim head
Thank
coach.
the Lord.
Sharon
I
Moore,
thank Coach Harbaugh. I
sobbing.
love you, man. Love the shit out of you, man. This is for you. For this university, the president, our AD. We got the best players, best university, best alumni in the country. Love you guys. These fucking guys right here. These guys right here, man.
This is live TV.
These
my
guys-
dude.
For those listening,
These
this
guys
guy
here, man. Don't to him,
lost
man.
it.
He's
Super emotional.
sobbing.
More-
Oh, shit, I almost played again. He literally seems like Harbaugh died, and that like this was like the game after.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's
like
what it
everybody's
seems like,
emotional,
Like
but
he's in the hospital even. You
Yeah.
know, like, God, he just lost. I mean, real tears. You could see when
he's
watching.
sobbing. Yeah, their tears are running down his face. I also realized I left you with the college football playing, and we kind of talked about going. I don't know what we're gonna come up with for an all college sports.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's all good. But
I'll
yeah,
have to
that's what I
hang on that
mentioned
one.
once you left the room, is just that we're going to start like kind of just doing a blanket. Once the college football playoff obviously starts, but I mean, maybe we'll just do that. We're just
soon.
going to get into college sports because tonight, college basketball, or I guess it was like yesterday it tipped off. They've been doing like small games and stuff like that, but the real thick of it starts tonight where Duke is taking on Michigan State, 51-40 right now. Duke is winning. And then after this game, my Jayhawks are taking on Kentucky, who's ranked, I think, like 16th or something like that, and KU's ranked number 1 at 7:30. So got college basketball starting, and then also, which really took the world by storm last year and has built up momentum over the last few years, is women's college basketball. And since LSU fell last week to the Buffaloes,
Yeah.
South Carolina took the new number 1 spot.
Go Buffs.
Yep, and the Buffs jumped to number 5
Yeah, and I think they're 20th
Yep.
before the season started.
with Deion Sanders on that team. Deion
Well,
Sanders'
Shalomi.
daughter. Yeah,
Shalomi.
I didn't want to say Salami.
Shalomi Sanders.
Yeah,
Shalom.
He's got some really cool names for those kids, man.
He does.
But yeah, he is here too. Speaking of college sports, we can mention it. So Dumbass Stevens and A. Smith thought a good idea since. Yeah, you were going to talk about Texas A&M firing their head coach.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit that real quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so Jimbo Fisher gets fired after a win this week over Mississippi
A
State.
big win. They just trounced this team.
It didn't look good, though, and that's obviously the reason why he got fired. But now he has a record $76 million buyout, which now accounts for over half of the supposed, because we don't really know the details, $146 million owed to the fired Power 5 football team head coaches. That's wild.
Yeah, Ed Orgeron, he's got to be one of them.
Yeah. He's still getting paid. I'm trying to think of who else. There's probably guys who are still working
Dabo,
right now.
I bet Dabo's
Sweeney?
definitely. No, he's
Sweeney?
not fired yet,
Dabo
but he's going to.
Sweeney,
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney. These guys
said
got crazy
Sweeney.
names, dude.
Dabo
Jimbo
Sweeney.
Fisher, like, what is this, man? What is going on?
He's
Are we
not
in a,
real. You're
in a
not real.
Street Fighter game?
You're not a real
What?
person.
It's so strange. now that I
The
think
funny
about it.
thing, though, also, that same game, Mississippi State fires their head coach, Zach Arnett, after 11 games. Unfortunately for this guy, he took over after, much like you would think what happened in the Michigan game, the sudden death of head coach Mike Leach last December.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate for him, they have not played well over the last 8 games, so that's the reason why he's getting the whole heave-ho. But yeah, nonetheless, in the same game, 2 head coaches are fired afterwards.
Crazy. Nuts, man.
Well,
But-
is there anything else you want to touch on? You were getting ready to go into something else.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, college basketball starting up now. College football is getting close to the conference championships. We're getting into. I know there's this other game I want to. Oh, Oregon beat USC. That was a really good game.
Yeah.
36-27. And then Alabama, dude, is starting to really come on. Oh, and this was the other one. I didn't know about this. Where is that fucking LSU game? Dude, Jaden Daniels, did you see he accounted?
His stats that game are insane.
unbelievable against a good team in Florida. I mean, I should say
He had like
they're
what,
not a good
250 rushing yards or something like that.
He had over 600 yards of offense,
Yeah.
man. That's like Reggie Bush numbers, man.
That's the only type of shit that can happen in college sports.
Yeah,
though,
no,
unfortunately.
totally. 372 yards passing, 3 TDs, 12 carries, 234 yards rushing, averaging over 20 yards a carry. And he beat, Florida was 5-5, but like, why aren't people talking about this guy for Heisman? I mean, these numbers are outrageous.
That is nuts. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you have Michael Penix, who,
He's been playing good.
been playing really good. Also, didn't they beat USC last week? Washington?
The previous week, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and then USC loses again.
It's
so.
probably going to come down to the Pac-12 championship between Washington and Oregon, I would imagine.
Oh, whether it's Bo Nix or Michael Penix.
Yeah, a lot of people have been trying to give some steam to Marvin Harrison, who's like getting $150 every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got
it
some good
happened with
genes.
Devontae Smith, 2 years ago?
I think 2 years
something
ago,
like that.
something
So
like that.
it's not unusual for a wide receiver to
It's
get
not
it.
unusual
To be loved by someone.
for a wide receiver to get Heisman.
All right, well, let's get into the old NHL.
Get it, bullhorn, foghorn, leghorn.
Miracle on Ice is probably something we are not.
The
what was-
Miracle? It was called The Miracle.
Miracle, the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Probably
one.
something good to grab something out of.
I'm all about it, dude.
Yeah, we're always trying to make the show better for you guys.
Rowdy.
He's bowdy. In the NHL this week, Monday, aka yesterday, the NHL had their 2023 Hall of Fame inductees, one of which is Pierre Lacroix, who was the architect of the Avalanche as we know them. He basically was part of what made the transition here to Colorado happen from the Quebec Nordiques. He's basically posthumously inducted, as he did die a few years back. He ended up passing it on to Joe Sakic, who is now the GM. But it was cool to see him get into it. It's a bummer that he didn't get to actually be alive when it happened. But his wife and son ended up having some really cool speeches. His wife basically saying your dream came true and stuff like that. So that was really nice to see. Shit. I had it pulled up, but I fucking deleted it. It was a goalie heavy class this year. I think. Of course, I fucking deleted the damn thing. God damn it. This is good podcasting right here.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you, man. I'm not sure. You want me to try to look it up?
I'll get it. Hold on. Oh, that's the same thing I just clicked on. Well, Henrik Lundqvist was one of them. One of Sweden's best goalies ever to come out. Like I said, Pierre Lacroix, and then there was Mike Vernon, Tom Barrasso, Pierre Turgeon, Ken Hitchcock, and Caroline Ouellette, as they have been inducting women into the NHL Hall of Fame that have had things to do with the NHL. Other than that, in terms of the NHL news, we also have the Penguins. They are going to be retiring Jaromir Jagr's number 68 on February 18th. Jagr did play for the Penguins over 11 seasons, winning 2 Stanley Cups and posting 1,079 points in 806 games. The other news we have in the NHL, which we brought up a couple weeks ago, the insane incident with Adam Johnson, who lost his life on the ice due to insane accidents.
Kick.
I guess now they're saying basically intentional, as Matt Petgrave is being held for manslaughter.
That's like what we said whenever we watched it, man. It looked intentional, and so I'm glad the family might get justice, and this guy could be held accountable.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, we've talked about it before. There was the Avalanche player who was paralyzed, and I can't remember his name, but he was basically charged with assault for breaking this player's neck. Damn it. Oh, Todd Bertuzzi, Steve Moore. Yeah. So let's see here. Steve Moore basically gets checked into the ice by Todd Bertuzzi, and his neck is broken, and he's basically, his whole career is ruined. He never plays another, never plays another minute on the ice, and Bertuzzi ends up getting charged, I believe, with it was something for, I thought it was.
Some type of assault, maybe.
Yeah, assault causing bodily harm, and he ended up getting charged for it. So it has happened before, but nobody has ever, as far as I know, killed somebody in a sporting event and been charged with it. So this could be some, real, groundbreaking shit, unfortunately, which is super weird to have happen. But we both said it, like, when you watched it that night, you were like, it looks like he did it on purpose.
Yeah, in hockey, there's no reason for your leg to come up there. It's not
at
soccer.
someone's neck.
You're doing a bicycle kick. You can't kick the puck.
Yeah, seriously, what the hell's going on here,
Dirty
people?
player, man. Needs to be held accountable.
Other than that, I don't have anything else for the NHL, but we can run down the leaders in the standings real quick. In the Eastern Conference, you have the Boston Bruins continuing their dominance into this year. They've played 14 games. They have 11 wins, 1 loss, 2 overtime losses where they're getting those good old points in the overtime. The New York Rangers are leading the Metropolitan League. 14 games played, 11 wins, 2 losses, 1 overtime loss. Moving into the Western Conference, the Dallas Stars are leading the Central Division over our Avalanche with 14 games played, 10 wins, 3 losses, 1 overtime loss. And the Golden Knights, 15 games played, 12 wins, 2 losses, 1 overtime loss. So again, the Knights are not having any sort of hangover from winning the Stanley Cup. So we'll see how they're going to end up.
More momentum.
Indeed. So let's get into the MLB real quick. There's just one thing to really touch on, but we all love to hear a little bit of this.
Delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut.
Gonna light your ass up, meat.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner in this.
Just a bit outside. The only thing we have in the MLB is the Rookies of the Year have been announced, and both of which were unanimous in the American League and the National League. Chad, do you want to give us who it was?
Well, I know one of them was Corbin Carroll or
That is
Correll.
Corbin Carroll. Yeah,
Carroll,
we'll go
okay.
with Carroll.
Yep. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. So Corbin Carroll with the Astros hit .285 with 25 home runs and 54 stolen bases, the first rookie to do so. And Gunnar Henderson hit .255 with 28 home runs and played really stellar defense at third base for the Orioles. Both teams made it into the postseason, having some of their better seasons of their existence. So good to see those rookies get the recognition that they need for what they've done this year in terms of the MLB. That's all I've got. Do you got anything, Chad?
Yep, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we are going to get into the music break, as you may
You want to
have...
hit the UFC real quick? We just
Oh,
had a
yeah.
pay-per-view
Let's
last
do...
week.
Yeah. No. Oh, shit. I forgot about the UFC. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Just real quick, I want to cover the fights that we just talked about last week that were going to happen. Yuri Prohaska. These are the 2 fights that I predicted wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happens to the best of us.
Yep, definitely. No one really could have expected this, but Sergey Pavlovich got knocked the fuck out by Tom Aspinall. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of momentum behind this guy, Aspinall, but Sergey has
Tommy Aspinall.
so much power. And, yeah, he caught Sergey with just like kind of a left hook and dropped him. And made it an easy decision for the ref to call it because Sergey was knocked the fuck out. And then in the other one, it was a little more controversial. Alex Pereira caught Yuri with, I think, like a right cross almost, and then hit him again, just a good combo. Dropped him, but Yuri was still trying to, like, claw back, pull his like legs down and stuff like that, but really couldn't do much with it. And then he rolled him over, started hitting Yuri, and the ref called it. It was a really quick stoppage. And I was really shocked, too. A lot of people were calling for Mark Goddard to get fired, to stop doing fights. But then Yuri made a statement afterwards and said it was the right decision. He was out. So,
well, it's like I told you earlier today. When he hit him with the cross, it looked like he was out.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was kind of, out on, not necessarily his feet, as he was kind of fighting back up to his feet, but it looked like he was out. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, there was obviously exchange that happened after the initial cross that set him down, and he gets back up, fights for a little bit, ends up getting put back on the ground, and then, it kind of seemed like it was over from there, but...
No one knows better than the fighter, so hats off to Yuri for coming out and speaking on it.
Yeah, he at least said it. So.
Yeah, because, I mean, it could always go the other way, where even if they're out, they could try to use that as a cop-out and say, oh, I wasn't out, I got an early stoppage, that's bullshit, give me a rematch. But no, he's an honorable man, and, owned up to it.
He's already back at it from what I saw. He's already back training. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to get
they
a rematch.
move quick.
Yeah. But that's it for UFC, so now let's get into the musical break.
All right, yeah, and as you guys know, the musical guest this month is the Deer Creek Sharpshooters, who my beloved bass player Daniel Petrino is also a member of, playing the old stand-up bass in this one. Mm-hmm. The name of this song is D-Town and Bound. It is off their most current album, so if you haven't yet, please go check them out on Spotify as well as all streaming services where you get your music. We will be right back. We appreciate you guys. Stick around. We will see you shortly.
Don't know why it's always the same. Routine is driving me insane. My spirits are starting to drain. Hope to God that something will change. Never left this small town. I think it's starting to drag me down. Gotta start turning my wheels. Losing time that I can't steal. Heading down that old Route 1. I'll hit the Wawa before I run. Driving in that old big truck. Where I'm going I don't give a fuck. Won't forget the friends I've made. All the memories that I've saved. Chasing down that setting sun. Gotta love that Darlington. Heading down the creek today. Just got done a load of hay. Long days make me weak. All I need is be at Deer Creek. Loading up with the boys, alright. Making all plans for the night. Gotta hit the liquor store. First let's do a 44. Heading down that old Route 1. I'll hit the Wawa before I run. Driving in that old big truck. Where I'm going I don't give a fuck. Won't forget the friends I've made. All the memories that I've saved. Chasing down that setting sun. Gotta love that Darlington. All my friends have moved on. They have all left their home. Not me, I'll still be here with my case of Budweiser beer. Many people call it Dirt City. Oh, come on, it ain't that shitty. It's always been good to me. Greatest town in the land of the free. Heading down that old Route 1. I'll hit the Wawa before I run. Hopping in that old big truck, where I'm going I don't give a fuck. Won't forget the friends I've made, all the memories that I've saved. Chasing down that setting sun, gotta love that Darlington.
And we are back. You just heard the Deer Creek Sharpshooters. The name of that song was D-Town and Bound. As I mentioned before, if you haven't yet, please go like and follow them on all things streaming, whether it be Spotify or Apple, music, whatever you listen to music on. Go follow them. You can also go check out their website, deercreeksharpshooters.wixsite.dcss, and you can find out when they are playing next, or buy music or merch directly from them, which, as we always say, helps the most. So normally at this point we would do the shot at the turn, but we are doing a little bit of a dry episode this week. We are keeping it a little sober. Chad was getting crunk all weekend, and
free drinks at all inclusive. I've been drinking a lot over the last 4 days. So.
Yeah, I also had a booze filled weekend. So
2 shows. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't need any more alcohol than what's necessary, which is
next
none.
week.
Yeah. But right now we are going to get into the NFL deep dives. I'm gonna hit you with this one right now. That is football.
Right.
That's right. We're going to get into the NFL deep dives, and then we're going to get into the DDOE and get out of here. I am going to start the deep dives this week. I picked the Houston versus Cincinnati game as I watched the majority of that, as I started CJ Stroud in the Fringe Fanatics Fantasy League.
Good
and
move.
Still managed to lose because I should have probably started George Kittle over Taysom Hill. Paralysis by analysis struck again.
Yep.
But CJ Stroud may have cemented himself as the offensive rookie of the year after his last 2 performances.
No doubt,
and
man.
In this game, he led yet another game-winning drive on the road to beat the Bungles.
Mm-hmm.
He also became the 4th rookie in NFL history to compile at least 2,500 yards in his first 9 starts. His 470 yards and 5 touchdowns over Tampa Bay were rookie single-game records. In this game, though, they did come out a little bit slow.
Yeah, it took a while to get going.
Yeah, things were slow going in the first quarter. The defense kept them in the game, though, only allowing a beautiful pass from Mr. Joe Burrow himself, the former quarterback darling of the NFL, who did have a pretty decent game this game, 27 for 40, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 costly interceptions.
Very costly interceptions.
And a fumble.
Yeah.
That beautiful pass, though, that I was talking about was to Trenton Irwin.
That was an awesome one. Then afterwards, he does that arrow kind of
Jamal right
Murray
away.
thing. Copied after Jamal Murray.
Yeah, the blue arrow. He stole that from the blue arrow.
Yeah, no doubt.
Trenton Irwin, 2 receptions, 54 yards on the day. But from the end of the first quarter, the Bengals would punt on their next 5 drives all the way up into the beginning of the third quarter. Cincinnati tried to rally after going down 20-7 when Singletary, who had a breakout game this game, went for 30 carries, 150 yards, and 1 touchdown, scored on a 6-yard run.
That was his first touchdown as a Texan, too.
It was, and a 50-yard field goal from McPherson and an absolute dime from Burrow to Jamar Chase as he scrambled to his left and hit him as he broke up the field for a 50-yard touchdown. Houston's defense struck again and swung the momentum in the fourth with 2 picks on the Bengals' first 2 fourth-quarter drives. Another huge opportunity was squandered when Burrow hit Boyd in the end zone on 3rd and goal, but he dropped it with
horrible drop,
39 left. Yeah,
such a bad drop.
They ended up having to settle for a field goal, which tied it at 27. That is when Mr. Cool, Calm, and Collected himself came into the game and drove the Texans 55 yards, including a 25-yard pass to Dalton Schultz and a 22-yard pass to the star of the game, Noah Brown, with 7 receptions and 172 yards.
Was that the play where he just ran over those guys? That was, yeah. Oh, man, when I watched that highlight, I was in shock. I was like, did they just not try? 2 guys go to, like, put somewhat of a big hit on Noah Brown, and he just, like, looks up like that's all you got? And then they just fall to the ground, and he runs for, like, another 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So totally dominates right there.
Embarrassing tackling.
Yeah, and that set up the game-winning field goal by their new kicker, Matt Amendola, no relation to the other Amendola, who ends up going 3 for 3 after being signed by the Texans last week after the quad injury to Kaimi Fairbairn. Stroud's one lone passing touchdown, though, this week did end up going to Tank Dell, who had 6 receptions and 56 yards as well as that touchdown. And he also ran in another touchdown himself in the first minutes of the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. Yep. He did lose, though, 2 fumbles in this game due to being sacked. He was hit a lot in this game. The offensive line needs some work, definitely. Yeah. He does not have much time. It almost reminds me a little bit of CU. He's just, right away, he's getting pressured. Mm-hmm. That's where those 2 fumbles came from. And then he did have his second interception, which did lead to the rushing touchdown by Mixon, who did not have the best game. 11 carries, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. But that touchdown that he did score brought the Bengals within reach at 27-24 with 3:41 left in the game. But yeah, at this point, don't be surprised if, in fact, C.J. Stroud is in the conversation for also the MVP this year.
Yeah, there's been some talk of that, at least for having him in the talks.
I don't think he's going to get it. But to be getting votes in your rookie season is insane.
He's been playing lights out. I mean, really, in that game, the Bengals just could not stop them every single time. I mean, like we were talking about, there was a lot of rushing in it. Singletary got a lot of carries, but the Bengals just couldn't really stop anybody. Cam Taylor-Britt, one of their star cornerbacks, got hurt in that game. That went out. That really killed them. Yeah. But, I mean, the star of the Bengals defense is their pass rush, and they were really getting to him. But, it's just insane to see this rookie quarterback like Stroud just carve him up like that.
Well, yeah, and even at the end of the game, before he went in, he basically told D'Amico Ryans, like, just give me a chance, and I'm going to do it. We're going to win this game, and that's what they did.
It's unbelievable. And then afterwards, he holds up the that
was when he ran it in. Yeah, he hit him with the OU.
Yeah,
Ohio University.
Ohio State kind of symbol.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I want to talk about this game. It was either this game or the Minnesota game, which we talked about with the Pastronaut. I mean, that dude's balling out of control, but
the confidence level of Dobbs is insane. His scrambling ability.
Yeah.
Where did this guy come from, man? It's so cool.
It's like we were saying. I think they may be better off without him over Kirk, or with him over Kirk Cousins. Yeah. So
I saw this really hilarious meme that was like a picture of him with an astronaut suit on. It says, this is going to lead to this amazing Disney movie, like a Disney Plus movie, or it said something like, it feels like we're living in a Disney Plus movie where Josh Dobbs is going to have to decide between going to the Super Bowl or going to Mars to save the world or something like that. It's like, damn, dude, he's that big of a hero.
He started the season on the Browns, right?
Yeah.
and then went to the
like
Cardinals.
a week
and now,
before the season, he went to the Cardinals. Yeah.
Pretty wild. But yeah, nonetheless,
Good for
CJ
him.
Stroud, the reason I picked them, though, is I watched this whole game, and it wasn't one of the games on, I had to stream it through nefarious ways.
Yeah, we do.
But I watched this whole game, and I was just, like, blown away by how, like, this guy's operating.
Yeah.
And to think that Carolina's overlooked.
Yep. Because Bryce Young was smart. Despite him like having the size of a high school quarterback, it's like no.
Oh, there
we
was
thought he
those pictures
smart.
of them in the beginning, like in the off season,
Dude, he's tiny.
with him and the offensive lineman, and just like he looks.
You
like
see
a
it on
kid.
Sundays, man. He's
Same with
fucking
Kyler
tiny.
Murray.
Yep, but Kyler had a good game. Though.
He did.
Yeah,
But
let's get into mine.
yours. Yeah,
All
tell
right.
us about it.
This is game Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Chargers. Title of this game is Balls of Steel, as Jared Goff said on air to some
movie.
reporter. Yeah, Balls of Steel. Are you talking about Balls of Fury?
Yeah, shit,
That's what
you're
you're
right.
talking
Balls,
about.
yeah,
Balls of Fury, Christopher Walken, man.
I'm thinking of I combined Blades of Steel and Balls of Fury. Blades of Steel, one of the greatest hockey games on NES. But anyways, continue,
Nice.
Chad.
But yeah, I mean that's because Dan Campbell, man, having just fucking cojones to go for it on a 4th and 2 at the end of the game, and pass goes to Laporta, and they kick the game-winning field goal. But just to recap it, man, I mean, it was unbelievable. So this is the game where like we got done hanging out by the pool, and we go back in, and I'm like getting ready and stuff. So Greg just texts, tell him we're about done. But
Oh shit!
yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy because the Lions jumped out to a huge lead. It was 17-3 midway through the second quarter, but the Chargers offense, he starts throwing off to Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen, man, this guy in the past couple games is just balling out of control. I think it was like 171 in this game or something. I forgot. I didn't write down the stats. But yeah, so LA scored a quick 14 points to close the gap, but then Goff kept the offense going and then put the Lions up 24-17 at half. And the barn just kept burning, basically. David Montgomery came back in this game and had a huge 75 touchdown run. And then, Keenan Allen, he was shredding the Lions defense. 171 yards in this game. The Chargers are the first team to score on their last 5 drives and not win the game. Such a Charger thing.
It's Staley.
Yeah. I mean, all that defense needed to do is get one stop at the end of the game because, like we said, the Chargers tied it up. I mean, it was just such back and forth. What I was getting at with, like, what I was doing there, I'm getting ready. I watched, like the second quarter, basically, and then, the Lions are up real big, and I'm like, I've got Justin Herbert in one league, and I've got Jared Goff in one league, so I'm just getting alerts back and forth. Then we go out to eat for dinner, and it is just like boom, boom, boom. Goff's in the red zone. Herbert's in the red zone. I mean, to me, this was basically your classic heavyweight fight where these guys were just trading blows back and forth. And, it was like when Herbert would score a touchdown, Goff would go right down there and score a touchdown. And right after they tied it at 38, Goff went down there, got him in field goal range, and a lot of that was there was a lot of gutsy calls by Dan Campbell in this game. There was I don't know how many 4th down conversion attempts there were, but I mean, I would say there's maybe at least 2 or 3, and the big one was that 4th and 2. I mean, you could have either punted it on, you were even in LA's territory at that time and just tried to pin them deep with less than a minute maybe to go, or you go win the fucking game, and they pass the ball, get it to Laporta, 6-yard pass, and then just close it out. Big win for that team.
Yeah, and another guy who I think may also be a dark horse MVP candidate is Jared Goff. Man, nobody's talking about this guy.
There's definitely been some analysts that's kind of mentioned it. Actually, Stephen A's kind of brought his name up a lot, and I mean he deserves it. This guy, outside of that bad Ravens game, they have been very consistent throughout this year. And then now that David Montgomery is back, you look at that running back tandem back there with Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, that's fucking scary, dude. Jahmyr Gibbs is fast.
Well, and we've been waiting all year for them to finally unleash him, and they still really haven't yet. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he's had a couple really big games, but it's been when Montgomery's been hurt. But now that they're both back there, and especially at the beginning of the season when they were both healthy, you just saw a lot more Montgomery, especially that game where he had like 3 TDs.
Well, yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it might have even been 4.
Yeah,
Who
it was
knows?
wild.
But now it's like it's a little more split carries, a little more shared workload. And so, I mean, this to me looks like a really scary team. And then also, if you look at the rest of the season for the Lions, their fucking schedule's easy. So this is a team we very may likely see them get the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think it's a real possibility.
That would be wild. That'd be one hell of a turnaround.
I would love to see
we
it.
called them in the beginning of the season to be like the Fringe Fanatics dark horse team.
Yeah, it's true.
And they're holding true so far.
Yeah, when they beat the Chiefs in game
We
1. there's a
know
reason.
some things.
Yeah. It's a damn good team. Dan Campbell biting kneecaps
Damn good
all
team.
year.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for the NFL Deep Dives. We both love to pick one game a week each to kind of give you the nitty-gritty on. And we've done so this week, but we're having a little bit of a shorter episode this week because we had a little bit of scheduling snafu with our buddy, Mr. Gregory Maher. We probably should have texted him this morning.
Yeah.
But we just assumed that we would all know that it was happening tonight. And you know what happens when we assume? You make an ass out of you and me. So here we are. It's probably good, though. Chad's, he just got back from a trip.
Man, I'm ready to fucking chill.
I had a
It was
long
fucking
weekend.
busy traveling
Yeah.
day. We got on the plane or got to the airport maybe around like noon or some shit like that. I don't quite remember, and didn't get back home till like 9. So yeah, it's a long traveling day.
Yeah, I thought you got back at like 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I was
when
like, did you get
asked
all your
me-
shit
you
done?
asked
You're
me
like,
if I got my
fuck
prep
no.
done. I was like, what are you talking about, man? My homework's not done
I
yet.
was traveling, dude. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? And you get it done on the plane, dude. You don't care.
I'm gonna do that.
Anyways, it's time for the DDOE, and
Hit it,
as
Chris.
always, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Daly himself.
Before you hit this, dude, let's mention we saw news.
His
drink
Good Boy Vodka.
It's now in Walmart.
It's
We're
in
gonna find it.
Walmart,
We're gonna
so
find
that
it this
means-
weekend.
No, next week.
Yeah,
when we get paid,
Yep.
we're gonna get some Good Boy
Don't tell-
Boy
dude,
vodka.
don't tell the public we're getting paid. We might get robbed.
we need
dude.
money. Send us money if you got it. We'll take it. But yeah, no, Good Boy Vodka is available now in Walmart. So I'm hoping that means across the United States, which means that hopefully we can buy Good Boy Vodka this next weekend.
Yeah, I sure hope so, man. That's a big partnership deal. I mean, I just now realized it. Yeah, the headquarters of Walmart is in Bentonville, Arkansas. Arkansas boy John Daly
Arkansas.
goes hand in hand.
It does. So hopefully next week we will have Good Boy Vodka on sip, ready to roll.
That'd be awesome.
And right now you're about to hear the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. John Daly, grip it and rip it as he hits it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are hitting it hard here at Fringe Fanatics as we bring you the daily dose of excellence. And this week, we are going back to college football, but not the college football you all know and love.
D2.
D2, man. Mr. John MATOCHA, quarterback for the Colorado School of Mines or Diggers. That is not a bad word. I said or diggers in
D.
terms of gold. Not gold diggers or diggers. He has made more touchdowns than any player in the history of college football.
That's nearly, I think, like a 200-year history.
Yeah, it's a very long time.
Really long time. And that surpasses Case Keenum from Houston and Blaine Hawkins from Central Iowa, who previously tied the record.
Yeah, and he broke that all-time record Saturday for total career touchdowns among all divisions in the NCAA as they finish their season undefeated, secure their 5th consecutive Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference championship title as they beat Fort Lewis. Now listen to this, Chad.
Yeah, I know. When I saw the score,
Listen
I
to
was
this,
like,
Chad.
this is nuts.
82-0.
Are we sure that Team Fort Lewis wasn't a
Is
high
this
school team?
basketball?
That's not
And
even
then
really
the
a
other team
basketball
didn't
sport.
show up?
Yeah. That's a school. That's just like the top middle school team beating up on a lowly team. That's
Your Pee Wee football team.
It's just like that is so wild. How do you say his last name? Is it?
I think it's
Matacho?
I think it's MATOCHA.
That sounds right.
MATOCHA.
What do you want to touch?
MATOCHA?
You want to touch my toe?
In the game, though, MATOCHA throws for 3 touchdowns and ran in a 4th to pass the previously tied record holders, which Chad just mentioned, were Case Keenum and Blaine Hawkins. He now holds the record for the entire NCAA at 181 touchdowns, including 155 passing, 25 rushing, and he caught one.
No, wow. A little
So
Philly
he did it
special,
all.
maybe?
Yeah, maybe a little Philly special.
Yeah.
The Mines team now becomes the 3rd team in RMAC history to win 5 or more consecutive titles. And they will be representing the Super Region 4 as the number 1 seed in the Division II playoffs with a first-round bye. And their first playoff game will be November 21st at 1 p.m. at the Alumni Field at the Marv K Stadium in Golden, Colorado.
Nice.
So, big shout out to him, dude. I mean, no matter where you do it, that's a whole lot of fucking touchdowns.
That's awesome, man. I mean, to me, what first comes to mind is he the next Tyson Bagent.
Maybe.
I mean, we just see
Does
Tyson
his dad
Bagent
arm wrestle?
go from D2 to the NFL. That's all you got to do is get a chance.
Well, and he got smoked by said ore diggers last year.
Exactly. So
I think he threw 5 interceptions or something.
You would think that would help his draft stock even more.
Yeah. So yeah, Bajan ends up losing to the ore diggers last year. Now he's in the NFL. We'll see if MATOCHA should have looked that up before we got into this. Will make it into the NFL. I think he's definitely gonna.
I think he'll go undrafted, but I think
he'll be an
snaps.
undrafted. But yeah, he'll go somewhere. When you score that many touchdowns, you got to.
Yeah,
so.
that doesn't get overlooked at all.
Not at all. That is called production, people, and production wins games. Yeah. So we'll see if he can be the next Brock Purdy, maybe.
Yeah,
Mr. Irrelevant. The last pick in the draft. So
the old ore digger.
The old ore.
That's a scary word to say.
Yeah, you can get.
You gotta be careful with that one.
You never know what's going to happen when you say ore digger.
Nope.
But we now are at the end of the episode, Chad.
That was a good one, man.
The time is here.
Yeah.
The time has
We're
come.
in the 60s now, dude. 61 coming up. Maybe we do Roger Maris.
Ooh, we'll see.
Just kind of throw off the whole concept, maybe.
Maybe. We'll have to see what's up.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we love each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning into
Thanks
Fringe
for listening,
Fanatics
guys.
each and every week. Chad Lee, I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy. We'll
We
see
will
you at work
see you
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.